Sierra Leone is last of 10, facing a lot of traffic to deal with onto the far turn. Boot to Cachet has made the top clear, leads at a length against the rail. Diddy a second by a head. Caitlin, Her Greatness, the leader. Caitlin, Her Greatness, leads at a length and a half as they go to the far turn, oversubscribed. His second and a half length. She feels pretty, third to the inside, pounces a wide fourth to the turn. War Campaign draws within a half length of the lead. Now matching strides, Kings Barnes moves up behind him on the outside. Epic Ride swings wide, just a touch between horses. Doorknock has to shift lanes along with Sierra Leone. Boot to Cachet still has the lead. Didia, English Rose toward the inside. She Feels Pretty has the lead in the final furlong. Kings Barnes in front. Final furlong of the Ben Ally Stakes. Boot to Cachet, 25-1 upset under Frankie Dettori. Sierra Leone comes forward for the lead in deep stretch and wins the Toyota Bluegrass. She Feels Pretty, a dominating performance.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Keeneland Look Ahead podcast. Jeremy Plonk here from Horse Player Now and Keeneland.com. We are going to preview day 8 of the 15-day spring meet. So that means we are halfway home after the Saturday racing. Actually, we get midway on the card on Sunday, and we'll hit the official halfway point. 9 races for you on Sunday. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Weather looks good for Sunday. Looks really good, actually. Temps into the 60s. Fast track, good turf course expected for the racing. Partly sunny skies. We could say partly cloudy, but partly sunny. We'll be optimistic, but should be a nice day for racing on Sunday at Keeneland. 9 race card. We'll preview all of that in just a moment. As for the review of what we saw on the track today at Keeneland, a little controversial finish, bumping in the stretch, a jockey's objection in the Jenny Wiley Stakes, but it is Choice Shift, first time U.S. with Luis Saez aboard, one of 3 winners on the card for Saez. He also won the nightcap, so good day for Luis Saez. He's had 5 wins in the 2 days since being back. Of course, you remember he was injured on Tuesday in a spill on Bluegrass Day, missed all of Wednesday and Thursday with body soreness, comes out of the hospital, wins 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. He's back as good as ever. Jose and Irad Ortiz, each with riding doubles. They just continue to be so consistent. No big 4 win days from those guys early in the meet, but through 7 days, they just bang out doubles. It just seems like almost every day, Jose and Irad. John Ortiz, the trainer, picked up a nice winner on the card today. His 3rd of the week. That's the most he's had in a Keeneland meet now. 3 wins, and he had a couple earlier this week. We jumped on the one today. Gambler's Tale is one of our best bets on the card. $19.62 payoff there. Good day for gambling here on this end. Finally, we had a couple okay days and then some bad days. Some days where we couldn't find anything we liked. Today's card, it came together. We hit that big key play for $19, 4 for 11 overall, with $42.50 in returns on the win end. So more than doubling our money on the 11 race card today. So really nice day playing. Hopefully you had a nice day too. Brendan Walsh, another win on the card today. Brad Cox, another win. Eddie Keneally won the nightcap for us on a 5-1 shot. Those barns just are very, very consistent this meet. They seem to be delivering a little bit of something almost every single day. Walsh, Cox, Keneally, they're really putting out good numbers here for the fall meet, or for the spring meet, I should say, 7 days in. Okay, let's get set for day number 8. We've got a 9-race card for you. Here's how it will line up with a 9-race program. The Giants Causeway, the feature race for turf sprinters in race number 8 on the card. That is part of a Keeneland Turf Pick 3 today that gets underway a little earlier than usual. The 3 turf races on the card are races 3, 6, and 8. So those will be the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 races. Race number 1 starts the early pick 5 as usual. Race number 2, the early pick 4. Again, we'll start that Keeneland Turf Pick 3 in the 3rd. Pick 6 was hit. There were a couple combinations to the finale that could have carried the Pick 6 today, but it did not. More than $200,000 bet into the Pick 6 today with no carryover. So people are playing the Pick 6 now. So interesting to see how much gets put into that fresh pot again on Sunday, beginning in race number 4. 5th race on the card is the swing race on the program. When you have 9, it's going to start the late pick 5, but remember, it will also end the early pick 5 and end the early pick 4. So do some handicapping in the 5th, put your extra time in there. It could help you on multiple sequences. Our key plays on the card come late in the day, and I'll tell you why in just a moment, but our key plays come up on races 6, 7, and 9. And again, the feature race on the program, the Giants Causeway for the Turf Sprinters, goes as race number 8. Super High 5 in the finale, no carryover into that one, so we'll start fresh in that race as well. So all the key plays are towards the tail end of the card. Why is that? I'm loaded with favorites early in the day. I mean, really, throughout the card, there are a lot of favorites on this program that I ended up with. As I told you last night, if you listen to the podcast and have said over the years, I print the past performances as soon as the entries come out and do my handicapping. So I'm not influenced by the morning line that way. It's not on the past performances. It's not completed yet. So when Nick Tamaro puts the line on horses, I'm usually the last one to know. I kind of go back in the end and review back in. Well, I'm on the morning line here to start this card. There's just no other way to say it. So what we'll do is we'll evaluate the tote board. I mean, if these horses are too short of prices to play, we'll either skip, we look at multi-race wagers. I always say, like, short prices are why the racing gods created the exotics, right? It doesn't mean, like, if you like a horse who's 6-5 and you don't want to bet that horse to win at 6-5, I get that, but it doesn't mean you have to go finding another horse. That's why they created the exotics. Maybe you go deeper with an exacta. Maybe you try to parlay a couple races in a row in a double or a pick 3, or key that horse or single that horse in a big multi-race wager like the pick 4, pick 5, or pick 6. You can go against the favorite if you feel they don't have any major edge over the others. But if you have a favorite you really like, don't go chasing another horse just because they're a bigger price. You've got to like the other horses. So then if all things are equal, then the better price is obviously the one you want. But if you think the favorite looks good, the favorite will win the race, you try to work out the exotics. If you can't work out any exotics that look good to you, then you skip the race. That's as simple as that. And there is no penalty for skipping a race. That's for sure. It's actually very, very good horse playing. If you have a race where you just can't work up anything where you can find value, you wait for the next one, because let's say you have $10 to play on the day and you don't play a couple of the races early, you still got your whole $10 to play on the races later when you actually have some money to fire. So, saving money on races that you don't like gives you more money to play on the races that you do like. So look at that in terms of strategizing your day. Let's get into the handicapping now for race number 1 on the Sunday program. We're going to start things out with the 2-year-olds, the baby dashers here, 4.5 furlongs. We've had 4 of them so far this meet. Wesley Ward has won 2 of them. And, Ward has won 50%, a little over 50% of these since we went back to turf or back to dirt. Back in the 2014 fall meet. So the first meet that we had these baby dashes on dirt was 2015. He's won like 48 of the 90. I mean, he's used to winning 1 out of 2. I heard someone on Twitter, or read someone on Twitter the other day complaining that Ward doesn't seem like he's as strong this year as he has been. He's won 2 of the 4. I mean, it's pretty much what he does. I don't know if you expect him to win all 4 that have been offered so far. He won 6 of 9 last year, was above his usual average. Maybe he'll win 6 of 9 this year when it's all said and done. He's got a big chance to win in here because he's got the 2 main players, I think, in this particular spot. Number 8, De Blasi, and number 2, Ohupi. These are the 2 for Wesley Ward in here. Not a lot in terms of the pedigree that we can go on in terms of, sires with a lot of experience here at Keeneland. B. Jersey hasn't done much with Ohupi. De Blasi, the 5, is by Win-Win-Win. Win-Win-Win has only had 2 starters on the Keeneland dirt, already a winner this meet in Maiden Company. That was an older horse. So De Blasi maybe will handle the track, but certainly the workout Bullet Fashion on March 30th tells you that the 4-5 morning line favorite's in the right spot here. Joel Rosario rides. Take the 8, De Blasi. I'm not going to try to get too cute in this particular spot. Mr. Vaggio, top pick in there for Gabby. Everybody else has De Blasi on top. 8, 2, and 5. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time here trying to sort out the rest of these. We'll just move on and say this is a single for the pick 5 for me. And if you're looking at an early daily double, perhaps as well. Problem with playing an early daily double, though, so we go to race number 2, which kicks off the pick 4. This is a maiden claiming 20,000. I also like the favorite in race number 2. So I'm not into playing 2 daily doubles. 4-5 in the morning line in the first race, 8-5 in the morning line here in the second on Lean Music Machine. This is a Brian Lynch trainee dropping in class. Lynch's barn running well. He had a nice first-time starter win today. Really impressive-looking first-time starter, in fact, for Brian Lynch. And so I would expect that Lean Music Machine under hot riding Luis Saez with 5 wins over the last 2 days. He's in a good spot here, dropping from the Gulfstream Maiden Specials to this Maiden 20. Should be graduation time, no problem for Lean Music Machine. 4 of us have that runner on top, so you can expect this is going to be solidly favored. Gabby is in a no-chalk zone to start things off. She's going to go with 9, Captain Fancy as her top choice in here, and try to beat the favorites in each of the first 2 races. Watch today at Keeneland tomorrow, 11:30 Eastern, and see what case Gabby makes to knock off these 2 favorites. Maybe she's got a good reason to do so with Captain Fancy in here. Lasix and blinkers for the 9 in this particular spot. If you're looking for some exotics, I thought the 7 Air 8 was the next logical player. In from Turfway, dropping in class. Candy rides run well on anything, including the Keeneland dirt. Rusty Arnold trains there. Air Raid's going to be my choice in here. Maybe we can get a little exacta action to a 7 here in race number 2. That'd probably be my first play of the day. If we can get a 2-7 exact in here, that would be certainly worth taking a look at in a play. Tom Leach also going with that same exacta play here in the second. I think it's single to start the pick 5, and if you're playing the pick 4 starting this race, you're singling the 2 Lean Music Machine. Starting to see why I thought the key plays on this card were later on. I mean, rather chalky to get things started here, and I don't feel that there are great options to go against necessarily the favorites there. So I'm not going to. We'll either sit them out, we'll single them in pick 4s or pick 5s, or try to catch a small straight one-punch kind of exacta on some of these races. Third race on the card, even if you do come up with a shorter price on top, you got a field of 12 here in Maiden Special Weight Company going long on the turf. My on a 16th. These races have been good spots to try to beat the favorites. So if you can in this particular spot, these races have lent themselves to some upsets. Race number 3 is going to kick off the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. Again, that is on races 3, 6, and 8. You got a field of 12 in here, so it's good for the tries and the supers. If you like a favorite in here, this is the shot to go down into the tries and supers, I think. If you want to try to beat the favorite in here, there's no problem in doing so with that, because again, these races, only about 25% or so winning favorites in these races in maiden special weights going long on the turf. I believe the winner today was 14-1 the last that we had one of these kind of races offered, so you can get a price in here. I do think the 9 Dublin's Knight, who is the morning line favorite, is the horse to beat in here. Terrible post position in the career debut in the 12-hole, ran a good second, came back and just missed by a nose at Gulfstream going a mile last time. You get Irad Ortiz riding well at the meet for Brendan Walsh. His horses are all running well. The 9 Dublin's Knight looks good in here to me. Gabby's got that one on top. Most of the handicappers have this horse 1 or 2. But if you are looking for an upset, these are the kind of spots where you can get one. Still, I would lean towards the Gulfstream horses. They've just excelled in the turf maiden special weight races here over the years. So you've got the 1 Borrowed Time, the 4 Proudly Hailed, the 8 Global Prosperity, the 9, the 10, and the 11 are all from Gulfstream. But that's like half the field. So if you can eliminate half the field and try to work from there, I would lean towards the Gulfstream horses in this particular spot. 9 on top for me. The 11 World Beater, my second choice in here. A good second off the layoff kind of move here. This horse ran at Keeneland in the fall, laid off the Gulfstream in February for Riley Mott. Ran a pretty good race. Didn't get the fastest pace set up, but it was fair enough for 7.5. They usually don't close and do much of those 7.5 on the turf down there at Gulfstream. You want to be up into the mix at that distance for sure. This horse was able to rally a little bit and run third. So I think World Beater's got a shot in here, and from an outside post might get left go a little bit in terms of price. The 4 Proudly Hailed is a Brad Cox going sprint the route, but also out of the Gulfstream meet. So 9, 11, 4, I'm going to take the Gulfstreams there. Other horses you might look at for some exotics in there, the 10 and the 7. The 7 was the one horse not from Gulfstream that I'm a little interested in. Esmark debuted a good third for Vicky Oliver back in August at Kentucky Downs. This is not a big first out kind of barn, not a big first off the layoff barn either, but Esmark showed a little bit in that career debut, might be able to run. $400,000 son of Constitution. So the 7 might be one to consider a little bit there in the third as well. But a good race to get after the exotics, because I don't think Dublin's Knight's going to be too short of a price in here. I know it's 9 to 5 in the morning line, but there are some other pretty good options in here. So if you key the 9 on top, you can still get a decent super payoff in here. Just got to get a little bit of bingo underneath and fish out some prices. In terms of multi-race wagers, I would not be singling in here. Again, my top choice is 9 to 5, but this is a race where prices historically come in very nice. So when you are looking at building out your ticket for the pick 4 or the early pick 5, race 3 is one where you want to get some coverage. Long shots are apt to pop in these particular spots. And I think this is a race where, again, 11, 4, 9, 11, 4, 10, 7, and maybe even some others that you want to dig around for. But I think you could go 5 deep in here, especially if you're singling the first leg or two in race number 1, such as we are. And I don't think you're going to go very deep in race number 4, because unfortunately, this isn't just simply not a very good betting race coming up in race number 4. It's a 5-horse sprint race in Allowance Company. A good group in here. They are stakes caliber runners. But from a gambling standpoint, it should really come down to Top Gunner and Roll On Big Joe, the 2 and the 5 at a very short price here in race number 4. It's going to kick off the pick 6. I can't imagine it, going any more than 2 deep in this particular spot. And Top Gunner's the play in here for me. This horse was third in Stakes Company here in the Phoenix a couple years ago. So while 0 for 2 over the track is stakes placed here at Keeneland, there's not any other Keeneland experience in this field. Top Gunner for Brad Cox, whose horses are running well. Flavian Pratt, who's leading jockey at the meet. A lot to like there. I think Top Gunner's the one to beat. Roll On Big Joe, certainly good form. Won the Palace Verdicts last time out at Santa Anita. That was, the Santa Anita Stakes Company hasn't been that strong during the course of this winter meet because Straight No Chaser is the best sprinter out there. He's been running overseas. So the races in Santa Anita for the sprinters have been left a little bit weak over the winter here. Roll On Big Joe, who's a nice allowance horse, cowbred type. And then you look at, we had the retirement of the Chosen Vron out in Southern California. So there wasn't much for that Palace Verde. So he does get the grade 3 win last time, and that would look really strong in this particular race, perhaps. But I don't know that, a horse like Top Gunner wouldn't have won that same race to Palace Verde. So 2-5, I don't think there's a lot of creativity in this race at all. And I would say in this particular case, just go one shot with it. I would not go too deep in this 5-horse field. I would single Top Gunner in these multi-race wagers going in and out of race number 4. There are some better bets later on the card. We said that's where we're kind of try to make our money, but I don't think the 4th is one where you're going to do a whole lot with. Maybe if you want to bet this race, you're looking at daily. Well, if you do want to bet a horse out of this race, like Top Gunner, you do want to look at daily doubles. Let the math work for you. Just to explain, I know people hate math, but in simple terms, there are only 5 horses in race number 2. So if you're going to bet an exacta, there are only 20 ways the exacta can possibly come in. 5 horses can win, and that leaves 4 left who could run second. 5 times 4, that's your number of different possibilities, right? 1 with 2, 1 with 3, all the way through. There are only 20 different ways that it can come out. If you look at the daily double, race 3 coming into race 4, you've got 12 horses in the potential daily double in the first leg to 5 in this race. So 12 times 5 is 60. So instead of 20 combinations in an exacta that can potentially pay out, there are 60 daily double combinations coming from race 3 to race number 4. And then when you look from race 4 to race 5, there are 10 horses in race 5. 5 in this race times 10 in the next. There are 50 ways that the daily double can come in the other way. Why do we care how many ways a different combination can come in? Because losing tickets pay the winning tickets in pari-mutuel betting. That's the way it works. There are going to be far more losing tickets in a big field than there are in a smaller field. So that's the reason why you want to play where the field sizes are bigger, and you need to make those situations happen for you when the wagering menu lines up. When you look at a race like race 4, to sit there and say, I like Top Gunner in this race, to bet an exact, I don't care what combination you like in race number 4, you're going to be better off trying to play a double from race 3 to 4 or race 4 to 5 than you are trying to hit an exacta intra-race. Because even if you hit the exacta, it's not going to pay much at all, especially when you have the favorite on top if you like Top Gunner. So, again, race number 4, we take the 2, we single them in the pick 4, we single them in the pick 5, and look at daily doubles trying to get in and around this horse from race 3 to race 5. Fortunately, in this case, with a 5-horse field, you've got a big field of 12 in front of it and a big field of 10 behind it. Even a pick 3, I mean, you think about the pick 3 possibilities, 12 in the first leg, and then you single this particular horse, and you got 10 in the next leg. There's a chance that you could get a decent pick 3, even rolling through with a horse who's probably going to be 3 or 4 to 5 in Top Gunner. But he's the top choice there in race number 4. A little strategy on how to attack it, especially with short fields. You've got to be thinking ahead like that. And don't waste a lot of money on that race intra-race. Unless you like a horse to beat that runner. If you're trying to beat the favorite in the 5-horse field, then 5 to 1 is 5 to 1. If you like somebody else, $12 is $12, and it's easier to hit a $12 horse in a 5-horse field than it is in a 12-horse field. So if you don't like the favorite in that short field, then by all means, attack on the win end and see what you can do. Race number 5 is a very important one coming up next, though. As we mentioned, it's the swing race in the early and late pick 5. Also ends the early and late pick 4. 5th race on the card in here. I've got a favorite, but it's a lukewarm choice in here. El Magnifico is 7 to 2 in the morning line. I didn't think this horse would be the favorite when I picked him because he's run 11 times already. He's got a lot of second and third itis, but he is dropping slightly out of a maiden special. This is a maiden 100,000, but a lot of these horses ran for maiden special last time. So while it looks like an arrow down if you're writing on your past performances, they're all coming out of maiden specials essentially. So not a big class drop. I just thought El El Magnifico had better form than some of the others in here, and I'm willing to forgive that form. He had a race over the track here at Keeneland at a mile and a 16th, in which he was kind of up into the race and then faded late. I think the shorter distance will help this horse out. Jose Ortiz is riding well. I was kind of lukewarm with this one, like, okay, I'll take the 8 because I like him better than some of the others. There are some horses that really haven't shown much at all in here, but I wouldn't want to bet this horse as the favorite on top. So this is a race to spread a little bit and get a little bit of coverage. I thought the 8 and the 10, Secured Lender, the 5, Private Reserve, first-time starter, and then even the 2, Venick, a second-timer for Eddie Keneally, might be worth a shot in here. So I've got it 8, 10, 5, and 2, and as you look across the way, 8, 5, 2, also top picks in here. The 10's picked by a lot of the handicappers. Those 4 probably get you through this 10-horse field. So if you're looking at doubles with Top Gunner in race number 4, 8, 10, 5, and 2, the ones you want to kind of sort through. I don't think you want to play 4 doubles, but maybe 2 with the heavy favorite. You might be able to get away and make some nice value out of it. Venick, the 2, might be the best option of those in terms of trying to get some value. Eddie Keneally had to get another nice winner on the card on Saturday. He's going good here over the first 7 days of racing at Keeneland. I wouldn't be surprised. He's got Luis Saez riding. Those were the tandem that teamed up for the last race and are a 5-1 winner to send us out on the Saturday card. So Venick, the 2, definitely one to consider. Not in my top 3, but certainly I'm using all 4. 8, 10, 5, and 2. Slight lean, though, to El Magnifico as the top choice in there. But again, it's a swing race. You hope that you can narrow it down a little bit more, but I think the other races, at least in the early sequence part, are pretty, straight in putts. I think the winners of the first, second, and fourth are going to be short price favorites. You've got to hope in the third and fifth that you get a little bit of bingo and maybe a little bit of price shot in there. Finally, though, as we get to race number 6, we get our first key play of the day, and we finally get a little bit of a price to kind of sink our teeth into. Turf Pick 3, second leg here. It's the second leg of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. That is races 3, 6, and 8 on Sunday. It'll also kick off the late Pick 4 in here. Number 10, Executive, is a horse in here who is going to be another one who's not a heavy favorite, but a horse I think that you can kind of lean into here at a very fair price. Comes off the turf at Gulfstream, third beaten a length last time. It was the fast pace and was right up on the fast pace. I think this pace will be a little more comfortable, and I look for Executive to punch him out in race number 6. This one's 3-1 in the morning line, and I would take 3-1 on this horse all day. I think that's actually pretty good value. So while it is a favorite, I think this is a legitimate price, and if we can get 3-1, 12-horse field, I think that price could hold up, but we do have Pratt who's going to, obviously take some money in here. Executive, top choice in race number 6 for 3 of us, Tom, Scott, and I. The guys are all on the 10 horse in here. Lebowski, the 3 and 2, 13 Colonies, top choices in here for Gabby and Kim. And, of course, those are my second and third choices. So 10 over the 2, 3, and the 12 Brushfire, I think one that you can consider for Mike Maker. He's had a pretty decent week here coming to life. Luis Saez rides Brushfire. You might get that one underneath in the exotics. But I think the 10 Executive in here is a very solid win bet around 3-1 and a top key in the tries and supers. I would go 10 over the 2, 3, and 12 and attack them in that sort of fashion. But the 10, definitely one of the key plays on the card here. And I don't think we're going to be 6-5, 7-5, but with 3 of us all taking that horse on top, maybe a lot of people are going to be in that same camp as well. Not following us, but just by the fact that if 3 of us all landed on the same top choice, the public might go that way as well. So Executive, really one I think that we can lean on here. And for me, would be a single in the multi-race wagers kicking off that late Pick 4. And when you're talking about the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, I would definitely be singling Executive, and that might be a very good bet to attack on this card here with some shorter prices. Get that $3 minimum and low takeout working for you in the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. That's race number 6. Let's go to the 7th on the card for this Sunday program. Race number 7's got another key play for me in this spot. And in this race, we finally do have a real price. It is Saez, it is Keneally, and we are going back to him again. Easy Red, the 10 in here, 10-1 in the morning line. Nobody else is picking Easy Red anywhere. So even though it's Saez and Keneally, and we've gotten lucky with them, and the public might jump on a little bit here, with no other handicappers picking this horse in the top 3, I feel like we're going to hold a fair price at least. That's because the one Impel is going to take a lot of money. She was 3rd in the Ashland last year. She's grade 1 placed, a grade 2 runner-up. She's a classy filly for Brad Cox coming off a long layoff, but she hasn't faced older horses before. This will be her first time against elders, and I think there's some good options to try to beat her. She's the 9-5 morning line favorite, and I think you've got some horses in good form that you can take a shot at. Easy Red being the head of that list for me. This is the horse that Doug O'Neill had, but once going to Eddie Keneally, it's all turned around. A good race at Churchill in the fall, good race at Fairgrounds right after the first of the year, and comes off a good second at Fairgrounds last time out behind Harbor Springs. This is a horse I think can be pace versatile. It can be kind of up into the pace if need be, can sit a little bit, and from an outside post position going 6.5, I think that's a good thing. First start at Keeneland for Easy Red, but by Omaha Beach, who gets excellent numbers with the offspring running on the dirt here at Keeneland. So number 10, Easy Red, going to be my key play of the day, probably price-wise. Hopefully we can get a nice number there. The one Impel, you respect. The 4, Lots and Lots of Candy, has to be respected off of 2 big wins in a row. Those were last summer, though. Long layoff for Lots and Lots of Candy. On the comeback, but the workouts are strong. Paul McGee for JMS Stable. They teamed up with a nice winner earlier this week. Small barn for Paul McGee these days, but they're hitting it a good percentage. And again, he's already got a big win at the meet, so Lots and Lots of Candy to be respected. 10 over the 4-1. Let's try to get Impel out of the exacta if we can. 10 on top. We play a 10-4 exacta, maybe a small backup 10-1, but we're going to try to get Easy Red in here. If you're looking at the multi-race wagers, I can see you going 10-4 and 1 and using those other logical horses because you're not going super deep in some of the other races. The 9 Pleasant Embrace, what a form this horse has, right? Winning 4 in a row for Kelly Breen. This is a race with good options. This is a good betting race here, and I think we've got a nice price. So give me Easy Red on top. I'm not using Into Champagne. Haven't even talked about Into Champagne, a filly who's second off the layoff. She ran 3rd in the Hurricane Birdie Stakes last time out. She's a classy filly. I don't know about her necessarily as a sprinter. She was 3rd in the Gulfstream Oaks last year. They tried her in the Kentucky Oaks. That didn't work out. She just kind of got outfooted in the Hurricane Birdie and passed some horses in that race, but there was a super pace setup that day. Ian Wilkes' horses are running good at the meet, no question about that. You get John Velasquez riding. You could go for Into Champagne, but again, Into Champagne, Impel, those 2 horses are classy and going to take a lot of money in here, and I think each one of them might be a little flawed in this spot. So really, 10 and 4 are the ones I want to kind of lean on, and if we could get by in the pick 4 or pick 5, beating Impel and beating Into Champagne, that could be pretty nice. So let's try 2 deep maybe as we think through this a little bit more. Easy Red to 10, 4 Lots and Lots of Candy, 2 deep in race number 7 here, and try to attack. And certainly we want win money on our 10 horse in here at 10-1 morning line, and I think that price might hold up fairly close to that. Next up on the card is race number 8. It is the main event on the Sunday program, the Giants Causeway Stakes. Final leg of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, 5.5 furlong turf sprint here in the Giants Causeway. We've got a filly or a mare here now who was awfully good here in the fall. Her name is Future Is Now. She came here and won the Franklin Stakes for Mike Trombetta. Trombetta's had Arzak. This filly, mare, Future Is Now, doing really well in Keeneland turf sprints over the years. Paco Lopez rides, and he's one of the best turf sprint jockeys in the country. I know Paco Lopez has his issues with some anger management things and the way he's treated some runners. And you could say what you want about Paco Lopez, and you would be right about that. But in terms of being a turf sprint jockey, you want him on your horse, honestly, from a gambler standpoint. This horse has won 4 of the last 5. Future Is Now, the horse to beat here in the Giants Causeway Stakes. As we look at this field of 10, Future Is Now breaks from post position number 4. That'll be my top choice in here. Really below that one, there's a couple different options and ways you might want to go. The 2 Tupi coming in from a race in January in Southern California has been kind of in and out from the East Coast to the Midwest. This horse didn't run very well in the Jessamine Stakes, one start over the track. That does concern me a little bit about Tupi, but Graham Motion, Flavian Pratt, speed from the inside. The one's got speed. This race is going to cook. Future Is Now doesn't sit very far off the pace either. From a deep closer, maybe the 7 Pandora's Gift was 3rd behind Future Is Now in that Franklin Stakes last year. Christophe Clement takes over the training for the first time. That's going to hurt the price. This horse was 40-1 for Stuart Williams and Adam Beschizza in the Franklin Stakes. Now you come back, it's the same horse, but with Christophe Clement and Irad Ortiz, you're going to be closer to 4-1 than 40-1. So I don't know if Pandora's Gift is going to offer value, but should get a good pace set up for the big late rally for sure. The 10 Just to Care, one who might be able to sit and pounce. Brian Lynch having an excellent meet. John Velasquez riding. And this one comes out of the Gulfstream Turf Sprint races that I think are a little bit underrated. An allowance winner over the course, Just to Care. Certainly one that you can consider in here. But I think they're running for second behind Future As Now. That's my top choice in the Giants Causeway Stake. We look at the other handicappers around the way. Pandora's Gift is picked on top by 3 of the handicappers. Future Is Now by the other 2. So full house, 7s over 4s. Maybe the pace scenario is the reason they're going Pandora's Gift to turn the tables on Future Is Now. Maybe it's the connections change where Christophe Clement and Irad Ortiz are worth the length and a quarter that they weren't a part of the last time these two horses matched up. You could certainly make that argument if you think Ortiz and Clement are worth a length and a quarter, then maybe this horse is more likely to win than Future Is Now. But Future Is Now has done absolutely nothing wrong, an impeccable record. I'm taking her on top, and she's the one to beat in here for me. I think the 7 is going to be an underlaid price. And these selections by the public handicappers certainly indicate that will be the case, that Pandora's Gift is going to get well backed in this particular race with 3 handicappers taking that runner on top. But I've got it to 4, use the 2 Tupi, the 7, of course, Respect, but the price is going to be too short. And then look at maybe the 10, Just to Care, pop it in there underneath. But Future Is Now, top choice for me. And I would look at that horse as a single in the multi-race wagers in race number 8. Hopefully everybody dives all in on these 7, and that gives us a fair enough price, and we might be singling the second choice. Maybe Pandora's Gift ends up going off favorite in here in the Giants Causeway. Let's go to the 10th and final as we wrap things up. The Super High 5 race is in this race, and our final key play on the card, we've got a nice 8-1 price here on the Get Out Special. Hit a nice $12 winner in the finale on Saturday. Hopefully we close strong again in the Sunday nightcap. This will wrap up 8 consecutive days of racing, and I've got the 10 in here. Storm the streets to do it. Ian Wilkes, the star of the week so far. He won the Toyota Bluegrass earlier this week. Of course, he's headed towards the Kentucky Derby with Burnham Square. Storm the Streets, it's Ian Wilkes teaming back up with Brian Hernandez here. And this horse comes off a second-place finish at the Fairgrounds. That was going long on the turf, but this horse has run on the dirt and run at some sprint distances and been fairly effective, including the 1-turn 7.5 at Churchill when running second, beat and a half length. Opened up big in the stretch there. So if this horse can make the lead at a 1-turn 7.5 at Churchill, been competing for the lead and making the lead at Saratoga, going 5.5. I have no problem turning back from the route races to the sprint now. So number 10, Storm the Streets, my top choice in here. 8-1 in the morning line. We need to get some prices somewhere on this card. Maybe we can wrap it up with a pretty good price. The 4 Bourbon Street Boys, a first-time starter, debuting in the maiden claiming ranks for Wayne Catalano. The works are decent for a maiden 20. You go back to 47-4 work the beginning of March. He had a bullet on the training track in February. This horse has been staying at Keeneland all winter and spring, waiting for this opportunity to debut here at the end of week 2, if you will, here on the 8th day of racing. Won't be surprised if Wayne Catalano gets some run. He's a good first start trainer out of Bourbon Street Boy, the 4. So I've got a 10-4-1. You look across the way, the 12 Parade of Fears picked on top by Kim and by Scott. Parade of Fears, first-time starter for Wesley Ward. 3-year-old by Hootenanny, so certainly some win early pedigree there. We'll see if Parade of Fears from the outside post can get up and go. The one thing you know about the Wesley Ward horses, and even in those 2-year-old races, like we're going to start the card with the Ward 2-year-old race, if they don't break on top, they don't win very often, you know? You can really look at that. When the Wards break on top in the sprint races, they are much more effective than when they're trying to duel or press or even, dare I say close. I can't remember too many of them who have come off the pace effectively for Ward over the years. But when they break on top, they're awfully tough. And you'll probably know in the first couple jumps if Parade of Fears, this first-time starter in the last race, is going to be a factor. I've got a 10-4-1 in the finale, though, and that's how we'll wrap up our handicapping for day 8 of 15. Now, after this, we get to take a little break. It's Sunday night. We don't have a show. Monday night, we don't have a show. We'll be back Tuesday night to preview the Wednesday racing as I catch my breath there. I'm so excited to have a night off that I lost my breath. But thank you for joining us over these 8 consecutive crazy nights of the podcast. Certainly appreciate it. The audience has been really big between X and with YouTube, and so very grateful for that. Hopefully we've helped you pick some winners over the first half of the meet, and we'll be back on Tuesday night to start the second half. Be sure to sign up for my Substack and get updated information on Sunday morning so you can get set for this card. Substack for me is jeremyplonk.substack.com. I'll give you my updated Sunday information, final picks after scratches. Should be released somewhere around 11:30 on Sunday, and we'll get you ready to go for the week 2 ender on day 8. Have a great night, everybody.